I'm Richard Willcox, and I'm married to Carol. We've got two children, Claire and Ben. Ben's our oldest, he's 20. He's at Harper Adams University doing a 3-year agri degree. He's at present on his year out, and he's working for T.H. White's, who are a machinery dealership in Frome, but based mainly at Tetbury in Gloucestershire.
I do like to break the ice there for him because ewes like to come and drink now and then. You see, they've been down looking for water and that's hard.
So I was born at Buckley, out the other side of Glastonbury, Buckley Hospital. Had a very short time at Westhay, where my father rented a farm in his early married life. And then the opportunity arose to buy our home farm, which I still call home, Townsend Farm at Sand near Wedmore. I think that was late 1963, and I was born late 61. So I'm the youngest of 7. So I've got 5 brothers and 1 sister. David's the oldest, then John, then Rolf, and then Jean, my sister's in the middle, and then Clive, Alan and me, Richard. So 3 of us are actually farming it now, and the others have all gone off and done other things. My 2 brothers are still producing milk, but they've both got sons to come home and get involved with the farm. So I'm hoping Ben will, my son will in time. I'm building up the cow numbers now, that probably, well, by next spring we should have 100 cows in the sucklers. But Ben is got new ideas, like all youngsters. He's been to university, he comes home with new ideas, and I'm probably going to say to him, will you carry on and put them into practice if you'd like to one day. I was milking cows here up until about 5 years ago. I've always kept beef and sheep as well as the dairy when I did. Decided to disperse of the dairy herd and carry on with beef sucklers. So I've managed to build up a herd of 70 suckling cows. I sell all the calves as stirks, mainly. I don't finish any. 2 reasons behind that. I find convenient to me for buildings, you know, I haven't got too many buildings, so I find it more convenient to be able to cash the calves in when when the time's right. And I also lamb around about 100 ewes, put them all to Texels. This farm would just to be about sea level, and some would be rising higher than sea level. It's a kind of loamy soil here, you know, good for growing grass. I wouldn't say it would be good arable land or anything like that, but my farm's all grass, so all my farm would be ESA. Some land out on the moors would be called an SSI, Site of Special Scientific Interest, which can create more restrictions to what you want to do. In cutting dates of when you can make the hay, and when you want to chain harrow it or roll it, they do like to govern that, because obviously for nesting birds and things like that.
I'm a member of the local drainage board, and obviously this time of year we would be talking about the winter pen, which would be dropping the water level for the winter. But obviously with the frosty weather and a lot of cattle still out, we've decided just to delay it for a few weeks and see how it goes, because obviously cattle still need to get down to drink, and if we let the water go, and then we have problems of cattle getting in the reens and getting out of the fields, and so but obviously, you know, they're talking of it getting milder in a minute, so whether it will bring rain, and then we'll have to be quite quick to let it go, and so we won't have any flooding, because we don't really want that this time of year.
Somebody asked me could I help him out, because he was a relief milker, and one of the farmers he was milking for had slipped down and cut his hand quite badly, and he couldn't really manage to milk this farmer's cows all the time, so I got involved in. I milked them for nearly probably 3 months, which really got me into the thinking, well, I probably could earn another income as a relief milker, helping out farmers when they want a day off. And so I've kind of built that up over the last over the last 5 years, and got my regular farmers I milk for, and it works quite well. I always say once you're in the milking parlour or wherever milking, all your work's coming to you. You know, they're walking in towards you. But when you're out around the yard doing all the other jobs, you've got to go pounding about and find all the work to do. So, and it's somewhere in the warm sometimes, out of cold winds. I've got my part-time job doing the NFU assessing for the local National Farmers Union office. And I also got involved with waste recycling about 4 years ago, I expect now. I seen an opportunity for a company who were looking for somebody who would get involved with collecting waste from farms, which is meaning the black plastic that they have on the big bales and things like that. So I did put forward a business proposal to the company, but I really felt I took on more than I could chew, and I didn't win the contract. So from that, the person who did win the contract gave me a ring and said, I understand you're interested in getting involved. Would you like to be an agent just for your area, Somerset? Well, Somerset and Dorset I'm supposed to be. So I've sold a fair few of these. Well, they're like big dustbins, basically. I've got one in the yard there, a big black bin with a liner, which is like a dustbin liner inside, where we can put all our black plastic and other waste like string and the net wrap which gets round the bales, plastic drums, chemical drums, and they will then be collected from the farm and disposed of in a sensible way. A lot of the black plastic is recycled and can go into all sorts, and they make garden furniture out of it, and it goes into the motor industry, into the bumpers and things like that. I've done a little bit of restructuring of my farm over the last couple of years. Sold away some outlying land, which was well, it was 5 miles away from here, from our farm. So I found that a little bit tiresome. So I've managed to disperse of that and buy a little bit more nearer to home, which when the opportunity arose. So that's kind of taken me away from that restrictive land a little bit. So I'm a little bit more my own boss really to what I do with my land now, which suits me better.
Come on. She'll be alright. I just want her to see where I put the calf, and then she knows he's up in the trailer.
In Wedmore now, there would be only one dairy farmer in the village, and that would be my brother-in-law, who's married to my sister Jean. Whereas when you talk to some of the older generation, they could tell you of probably 30, 40 milk producers in the village of Wedmore. I admit they were only small producers, but they did produce milk and send milk, to the dairy. So that is the way the farming's gone. The communities have gone. A lot of the farmhouses have been bought by, no disrespect, city dwellers who want to move into the country. Yes, they've bought their properties. They're part of the village. So, but a lot of the steads have been dispersed and sold away. Probably the bigger farms have got bigger. And the same in Mark now. We've only really got 2, possibly 3 milk producers in the village of Mark. When I first moved here, there were probably 10 to a dozen. We have quite a nice social life, being within the young farmers. We've got a lot of good friends in the young farmers, being the parents of our children, the children in the club. I'm part of the advisory committee, and being stock keeping members, they need a little bit of guidance on keeping their stock, which is what my father was involved with, and now being a parent of a member, I've got involved with. 2 of the advisory members, about every 2 months, 3 months, we drive around and inspect the calves and make sure they're looking all right and everything's okay with them. We like to see them halter trained, so that we know that when they come to our show that they'll be safe. And then at the end of the year, we like to hear, see their cost calculated into what profit they made out of that animal. So it's a good learning curve for the members about keeping animals in, and obviously the main thing is trying to make some money out of it. Claire, she'd like to be involved with agriculture somewhere. She's got it in her blood that she enjoys her cattle and keeping her stock, and she enjoys stock judging. She's gone to work in the vets, which is obviously still agriculturally based. She's enjoying that at the moment. And she's got her part-time job at the Sedgemoor Livestock Market at Junction 24. She enjoys that for a Saturday job, and it's a good learning curve for her because she's learning a lot about the passports and the paperwork involved with keeping cattle, and the rules and regulations, which are never ending. And so and she's learning a lot about values of animals. You know, when she sees them sold, she can appreciate what cattle and livestock are worth.